just a hack. He's just an absolute hack. And he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
What was that?
Okay, you want to play the game?
No, yeah, it wasn't recording when you said that, but I think the audience missed it, what you just said.
No, they didn't miss it, Joe.
Oh, and here come the sunglasses again. Welcome back to another episode of the Believe in FCS Football Podcast. I'm Joe DeLeone, joined by my former teammate, former roommate from the University of Rhode Island, Mr. Sean Anderson. Sean, for the first time in 2 years, I swung a golf club. I went to the driving range this weekend, and I don't know if I met my expectations.
What brought you to the driving range? First of all, was it what I think took you, or is it? Did you just want to go?
Both. But mostly I wanted to go. I brought my clubs back here with the intention of wanting to get back into playing. And I don't know if I met my expectations or not for how good I was going to swing. Actually, it was $15 for 120 balls. Not that bad. That's standard.
Well, that's driving range. I meant the rounds. The rounds have to be expensive for all the water they're using.
Right. I refuse to go play for like a month. I need to get back into a rhythm because the driving was horrible. I was slicing every shot.
Sure.
Off the woods wasn't that bad. Irons was hit or miss. Way worse than usual. Don't even remember what my swing was. For some strange reason, the one club I hit the best was my approach wedge, which you would think is like the complete opposite.
Some would call it a chipping wedge or a chipping iron.
I have an approach wedge. I don't have a chipping wedge.
An approach wedge. You know what? I'm using clubs that I found on the street, so I'm not even going to try to flex like I know anything about golf.
Are you actually?
Yeah, I got these like 2 years ago when I was living at home. My dad came home and said, "Hey, Sean, there's neighbor left out some clubs. If you want to go check them out." And I went and checked them out, and I picked them up.
Can you please buy some real clubs?
No, I actually. I gotta go scourging for some balls. Soon. My granddad lives right off a golf course, so I'll go in his backyard and neighbors' backyards, and I'll just come out with pearls, man. I'll go home, wash them up, clean them up. I'm talking Pro V1s, and any of the top balls. They're just sitting there, just not picked. I gotta go get them.
See, for our listening audience,
I lost like 13 balls yesterday.
I have never actually had a conversation with Sean really about golf. Like I've had like very minimal. The most of the conversations are Sean telling me like, "Oh, I'm going to play golf. I can't record today." That's the extent of the conversation.
That's really what it is.
I probably could have guessed that your golf clubs were not even hand-me-downs, were garbage.
Some of them were hand-me-downs. My putter has got to be from the 80s. My pitching wedge or pitching iron, it looks like it's been run over by a trash truck. It is probably from the 1960s, but it's my best club.
Honestly, that might be the best way to get good at golf is using the biggest piece of crap clubs that were by someone's trash can. And if you get
he was throwing out those, he was getting rid of a whole set of Wilsons, man. They're good clubs.
That's crazy. But they were still junk because hence him trying to get rid of them.
Well, my whole golf bag is all not my stuff. Like I think the only thing I have, I took my glove from one of my roommates a couple years ago. I've been using that, and that's just a disgusting piece of fabric at this point. I took a towel that was laying on a green 3 weeks ago, and that's my golf towel. It's a pretty good one too. So that doofus wasn't looking for it. I have a 2-iron that I found in the woods. I have a 7-iron that I found in the woods.
They still make 2 irons? Or they don't actually.
It's an awful club, and it has a loud ping every time it strikes the ball, and I never use it, and it stinks.
That's the most useless club that you. They don't even make 3 irons. Most manufacturers don't even make 3 irons anymore.
Oh, my 4-iron is probably from the 40s. It's just the thinnest piece. It's literally a Jack Nicklaus iron. Like it stinks. But I found the 7-iron, I think, when somebody threw it in a fit of rage in the woods because nobody would just forget it in the woods. So I found somebody who got too fed up with their 7-iron. So I'm carrying around 2 7-irons in my bag.
But so this is my point, though. If you can somehow produce mediocre results with those clubs, by the time that you can afford to buy like a really nice set, like maybe when you're like your mid 30s.
Why would I buy a set? I'll just keep on finding them.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate this. I refuse to play golf with you with this. I bet one of them's at least duct taped together.
No, they're all good clubs. And the clubs match the bag too. It all is. The guy was throwing out a full set. And before that, I was literally playing with my dad's hand-me-down clubs, which were breaking.
Your putter's just one that you stole from a mini golf course with a rubber end on it.
My putter was doing a little bit better yesterday. A little bit. I was finally hitting putts that I should hit. Oh, I know that we're at the top here. You're going to say, all right, Sean, get to the read.
Yeah,
I want to say this. Hey,
wait. Can I just highlight what we're talking about today? We're talking about offensive linemen, the top offensive lineman in FCS football, with the offensive line guru himself, Sean Anderson. You're going to give us some insight on these boys.
I watched some film on the elite tier guys, and if you want me to watch film on any offensive lineman, just tweet me at Sanderson Radio. I will watch it immediately and provide you with 5 bullet points worth of analysis. That's
actually, I have a better way that you can do that, and you and I will talk after the show. But if you want Sean to watch somebody and give analysis on it, tag us. Tag us, comment under the video or in the comments on the YouTube. And
I'll happily do it.
I have a really fun idea how you can do it, Sean. We'll talk after the show. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, before the Bet Online read, I have to say this, and it is company related. Yes. With Believe, whatever the hell this push has been for Josh Fisher and his hats, I'm over it. You know why he has those hats? He bought them for bits and skits. It's different. We're living a different life. He has 106 hats.
Joe, how many? You have more hats.
How many would you?
You have more hats.
I know I have more hats than him. I know I have more hats than him.
You got to have at least 150. He's got 106.
A lot of them were hanging up in my folks' basement. A lot of it's a good. I have a ton of hats, and I'm not trying to get in a measuring contest of sorts about who has more hats. But I need him not to be known as the hat guy or anything like that. Because he's buying his hats for content. I'm buying my hats because I wear them.
Sean, I just figured out this is why you weren't hired. Josh clearly found out that you had more hats than him, and there was some level of intervention, and he must have stepped in and said, "We can't have a guy that's got more hats than me." That's what it was.
Because everyone, you're trying to be funny here. I'm tired of seeing, we got to do something. Josh has so many hats. No, he puts them on when he's doing a TikTok or an Instagram video, which is cool. I have no beef with what he does content-wise.
But he's got less hats than you.
He's got less hats. He's got less cool hats. His hats stink. He has an awful Oklahoma City hat.
Yeah.
I think he was wearing for the draft. Awful hat. And I got some bad hats too. Trust me, I got some bad hats too.
But you got a lot of cool old school ones. But so for some context, Sean after college lived in his basement because the downstairs man cave was the best part of the house, I will admit.
It's
And there was a kind of like a piece of the ceiling that jutted out below the ceiling and wrapped around the entire basement.
It's like Sean had HVAC runs and all that stuff.
Yes. Sean had a hat nailed or connected to every single inch of that thing that wrapped around the entire basement. There at least easily 150 hats. It's not even,
and it's not even. I didn't even bring those with me.
Yeah.
I got 40 hats sitting here in my house with me. I can't.
Yeah.
Josh Fisher is not the hat guy. Okay, and everyone's impressed by he has 106 hats. Cool. He's got a hat for every major league team, and maybe 6 that he wears for leisure.
All right,
I'm wearing 40 hats.
Let's do the let's do the read, Sean. Really quick betting story for the read. So last Monday, I went on the previous weekend I went on like a 5-pick heater. I forget if I told you this or not. I went on a 5-pick heater. My bankroll was the highest it had been after my original investment of only $30. I had more than tripled it, and I was really high on myself. And I decided I was going to bet on the Dodgers to cover -1.5. And instead of putting in a small incremental bet like usual, I bet over 80% of my total bankroll, most of it. I'm like, you know what? We're going to get risky. We're going to have some fun. The Dodgers are playing, I think they were playing the Reds. And I'm like, give it to me. Put the bet in. 10 minutes later, I realized I didn't bet on the Dodgers, who won that night. I bet on the Angels. So I lost most of my bankroll because I picked the wrong team in my bet, and they lost.
You're a doofus.
Yeah.
You are. That is. Now, I can't say that I'm unable to sympathize with locking in a bet on the incorrect team or incorrect over-under, and then you're rooting for the over in a game for a whole half, and then you check to see how it's doing, and you realize you had the under, and now you want everybody to stop scoring the basketball. So I can empathize with that. I'm glad you lost your money though. And you, the listener, can also lose your money at betonline.ag. No.
And you can do what I did too. After you're so
hold on,
frustrated, you had $10 remaining. You bet on a USFL game that also didn't hit.
Hold on, Joe.
Betting is fun.
I got something.
What do you have? More props. You know what else has a lot of props is Bet Online. Oh, you froze.
No, I didn't freeze.
Oh,
I'm right
you
here.
Didn't believe it. Well,
Look
they
at
sent you a hat.
this. They sent me a hat and 2 shirts because one shirt was a misprint, but it's all good.
Coworker power rankings right now, by the way. I think Cam's at moving up to the 1 seed right now. He's moving up. Actually, no, he's number 2. It goes Todd and then Cam. Cam has been doing a fantastic job in his new role. Did
you see how quickly I got that hat on?
That is fantastic.
But yes, I got a hat to represent Believe, and also representing Believe is Bet Online, our go-to partner for all of your sports gambling. I've been using this tagline in the last couple of reads, and that is, you're smart, the listener. You're smarter than me because you don't have hubris. You don't have an ego. You don't think that you know too much about the sport. And you need to put a bend in that.
I know.
I hate flat brim Joe. Joe showed up to college with probably 20 flat brim. That's better. That's a good looking hat right there. And I'm not anti flat brim. I just know I can't pull it off. And I know Joe can't pull it off.
I wear it backwards a little bit better.
There's a way that I don't know who exactly pulls off the flat brim. It's not me. I know white guys can pull it off. Some white guys can. Some white guys can't.
It's a head shape thing, man.
Yeah,
it's a head shape thing.
But I think like every black guy can pull off the flat brim if they choose to wear it that way.
Yeah,
I think Hispanics pull it off really well. Also, I think white guys can look really goofy in them. Also,
we look goofy in a lot.
We look goofier in a flat brim.
Did you finish the read?
I don't know. I keep on getting sidetracked.
Bet Online.
The listener, you're smarter and you have less ego than Joe and I when it comes to sports betting. So that means you'll probably win money and come out happy, unlike us who are just constantly miserable. Head to the website, use your mobile device, you sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet Online, where the game starts.
We're in mid-season form, though, Sean.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know if I like it backwards. We're in mid-season form, though, Sean. 12 minutes in, and we still haven't talked about any FCS football.
Why would we?
Let's talk about these guys, though. So I want to start with the elite tier, as we've been doing. You
know what? Let's start with the trash tier. How about that?
Let's name a bunch of bad football players. The elite tier, as we've been doing, and we've been breaking this up, we have a small clump of guys that are over the top, exceptional players at their position, the guys that are most likely to get drafted, the top performers. And then we have our great tier, which are really notable guys that are going to populate these All-American lists, these All-Conference lists that have the potential to maybe ascend into the elite tier. But this is how things currently stand. So I want to start with our 4 guys that fit the elite tier. First being Mcclendon Curtis from Chattanooga, Cody Mauch from North Dakota State, Mark Evans from Arkansas Pine Bluff, and then Spencer Rolland from Harvard. I just realized it's not Curtis, but it's Mcclendon Curtis. The stupid, I read it wrong on the roster. Mcclendon Curtis, first of all, great football name. I don't know why. I love that name. I think that's a fantastic football name. But secondly, this man fits the big boy category. He fits my category of big boy. This dude is 6'5", 345. Now, if you watch him on tape, Sean, he is not really built like a guy that's 345. Like, he carries his weight decently well for a player that size. Now, from speaking to Coach Rusty Wright, it sounds like, despite playing guard opposite of Cole Strange last year, he is going to be bumping at the tackle this year. Now, part of me wonders if he's got the physical profile, the movement skills to do it, but he is far and away the best offensive lineman at Chattanooga. He is the next in line behind Cole Strange. Not going to get drafted in the first round, but very likely to get drafted, I would argue, somewhere mid to early day 3.
Yeah, he's someone that you pick out on tape immediately, saying, okay, even if I wasn't looking for him, didn't know his number, he is somebody that I would say, wow, that guy stands out. And he stands out because he is being ran behind on all of their touchdowns. I understand that it's not every touchdown, so let me be a little bit hyperbolic if I may. they're running behind this guy, as they should, because his body positioning on the blocks is exactly where it needs to be. I don't need pancake throwing the guy into the sidelines. I've never needed that. It's a good trait. It gets you signed to colleges. It gets people's eyes on you. You get labeled with a tough moniker, and then our brains associate that with elite offensive linemen. Now it's an elite trait to be able to throw another grown man into the earth. That's an elite trait. A lot of people can't do it. But I need a guy that can simply do his job, reach the 2-eye, help out on a combo block with the center, and also win in one-on-one pass pro, which Mcclendon Curtis does. If I was listening properly, that's his name, first name, last name, correct?
Mcclendon Curtis. Yeah, I'm an idiot, and I listed his name wrong.
That's what we did. We also need to review the Mark Evans measurements, Joe. He actually is the left tackle, as I was just looking that up as a secondary due diligence, but I will get to that. I think you can do that while I continue breaking down Mcclendon Curtis. For his size, his reaching ability is impeccable. He always has his feet and hips moving exactly positioned where they need to be. So Chattanooga's running backs have it easy. They have it easy. They say, okay, now I can really tee off on my cues. Now I don't have to make some crazy, really beginning of the play read because everything's falling apart to the right side. No. It's true security for their running backs. I wish, and I know it's probably being chirped in the meeting room and everything, I just need him to get out of the gate a little bit quicker. I need him to get out of the gate a little bit quicker. He gets out fine. I'm not knocking his get out, but if he wanted to really boost his grade in this upcoming season, he's going to emphasize getting out of the gate quicker. But don't get that conflated with being reckless and out of control and shooting out low and going face first in the turf. Because a lot of guys, if they've been emphasized on having to get out quicker and shoot forward faster, then they're out of control. So I'm fine with Mcclendon Curtis being in control at the pace he wants to be, but a little bit of explosiveness at the beginning of the play always helps.
Yeah, Curtis, the one thing with him I do feel is a little slow-footed, and part of me wonders, is this a guy who needs to drop a little bit of weight? Because he's a big dude. He's freaking massive. Like 345 is freaking
Doesn't move
huge.
like 345, though.
No, but you don't need to be 345 to play offensive line in the NFL. And I think a lot of teams, if you don't need to weigh that much, they'd rather you move easier. They'd rather you be a little closer to 315.
They would drop him down, add muscle up. He that's what they would do. But right now, he's moving very well for 345, and I'm not even sure if that's an official listing right now.
Yeah, I mean, that number comes from the scouting information that I have access to. So that number is correct. Whatever's on the website, I don't necessarily trust that stuff.
Sure.
Next one, Cody Mauch, who from North Dakota State, top returning lineman for that team. We have another North Dakota State offensive lineman as well that we're going to...
I think we've had one every single year that we've done the show.
Multiple. And Cody Mauch is the next guy up. Fantastic player. Underrated athlete. And the one thing with him, though, that's kind of annoying is he almost came on the show. He was going to come on the show, but
I'm sure
Dakota
Barstool
State,
got him or somebody.
No, the sports information department at North Dakota State blocked it. I directly reached out to him. He follows me. I appreciate her, a friend of the show. And I said, hey, Cody, would love to have you on and talk about the national championship game. This was right after, actually a couple weeks after, so there was enough time. He's like, I'd love to come on, love part of you about the show, but the sports information people at North Dakota State told him no. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, he's a bit of a character. I think everybody that knows about Mauch understands that is who he is, and it's not a bad thing to have an offensive lineman as a character because it's a pretty grueling job, and if you can find somebody that truly enjoys it, then you're probably going to have some good cohesiveness along that line. Man, he is a guy that he's going to get his hands on you first, and he's going to have great body control. That's what you're going to get with him. That's what you're going to get with a lot of the North Dakota State offensive linemen. Good body control, and their backs are always flat, and they're never reaching. It's almost Wisconsin or Iowa-esque, where you just
Midwestern linemen,
it's just a factory
and prowess, and
they're not playing freshman year because they got to get stronger and they got to have the control. And then when they have the control, you say, "Wow, this guy's really, really polished." Well, you say, "Okay, well, how about we look down the list here of all the fantastic offensive linemen they have before them, say, oh, maybe they learned a little bit after sitting behind these guys and actually letting them develop some technique in the practices that they needed to do. He's just another guy on that list of exceptional offensive linemen from that college. I mean, he's a guy, again, he's a little more, going to push you into the dirt, going to make sure you tone setting plays. But he's a fun guy to watch. He's gonna give you something to see every time you're watching North Dakota State.
So Mark Evans from Arkansas Pine Bluff is one of those perplexing, head-scratching determinations here. Why'd you delete his size that I had?
Because that's not his size.
It is. That's the scouting information that I had. The roster number is always wrong compared to what he actually is measured at.
I'm just watching him. I don't think he's that height.
Okay, so he's listed at 6'2", 297 by the accurate measurements that we have from the scouting service.
6'3".
He's like 6'2" and change. He's like 6'2" and 3/4 or whatever. He's actually, or not actually. His roster says. Oh, did you go to Arkansas and measure him? Did you?
I can see him on the field.
That's a new level of cockiness from you, saying that I can see that he's 6'4".
Hey, trust my eyes, brother. I'm the Barry
screw
of
the guy
who
went all the way, who either went all the way there and measured him or requested an official measurement from the school. Screw that guy.
Screw him.
Okay, so the guy who did his you're the type of guy that'll like read like a scientific study and like, no, I know, right? I know more than that guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Stop it.
There's no way. I've seen it happen. That guy's wrong. That's what you're doing right now. That's exactly what you're doing. Mark Evans, though, one of those oddities, though, because he's not that big, and he was playing some tackle. Yeah, he's an outlier, 6'2" ish. Let's say 6'3". That's still small for a tackle. That's still small for a tackle.
It is,
but still, it's just so hard to get around. He's probably going to get bumped into guard because of that size profile. He's too small to play tackle in the NFL.
To getting bumped to a tight end. Freak athlete.
I know he moves really freaking well, and he at 297, which was his measured weight, not his listed weight.
I'm not saying he looks. I'm not saying he's. I'm looking at him right now. He's probably 297 here.
Who is I'm blanking on his name, but there is the tight end that we were talking about last week. That was
from Furman.
Dude, no, not from Furman. There was the Bethune tight end. Here, I'm going to pull it up. The Bethune tight end who looked like an offensive tackle. And this guy's
he just had the big thighs, the big ass, all of it. Yeah.
Kamari Everett from Bethune, who's listed at 272. They both kind of have similar builds, and Evans is like, if he was like a little bit, if Evans was a little bit thicker.
Did you see whose buddy that runs the Senior Bowl? Tweeted about the Furman tight end.
Nagy.
Yeah, he tweeted out the Furman tight end and a couple SIU
that
guys.
That size thing is
that?
Not right. That is not right, Jim. He's good, but he's not a tight end. He's a receiver. That dude's a receiver.
Yes.
Stop pretending he's a tight end.
I'm with you.
But Evans is he's an offensive lineman.
Yeah, so Evans won the Willie Rofe Award as like the best offensive lineman in Arkansas in the state. Pretty good.
Wait, out of any school?
I think I'm just saying here.
Ricky Stromberg?
When I was doing a little bit, Mark Evans, UAPB lineman Mark Evans receives Willie Rofe Award. Let me see if it's a
no. Keep talking about
HBCU
him. Let me look up the Willie Rofe Award. You keep talking about him.
Arkansas's top offensive lineman. Yeah, HBCU and UAPB player receives 2021 Willie Rofe Award as Arkansas's top offensive lineman. Yeah, Willie Rofe. Legend in Arkansas. Sorry, I'm reading an article instead of broadcasting. Pardon me.
Yeah,
this guy's an athlete. Very fast feet. He still a little light in the ass, but he holds his own very, very well. If he's got a heavier 5-tech on him, then you're gonna see this a lot. You're gonna see him hands outreached, his head back but straight. He's not like he's staring at the sky, and it's not like he's down looking at the ground, but you're going to see his back bend, and you're going to see it bend back, and you say, oh, that's not a great position for him. It's not. But that is him still being in the correct position for someone that's going to bull rush him or try to get underneath his pads, which it can happen. It will happen, but he's not getting planted on his neck. He's not getting beat inside, and he's not giving up the outside ring rush right to the quarterback. So what he's doing is he's fighting, and he does a really good job of taking this little jump back, which I could never do ever once. Never got it right. Failed in every drill that I had in that, where you just take a little bunny hop back with both your feet to reset yourself, anchor yourself down, and hold them up like that. No. Me, I couldn't do that. But really good offensive linemen with good feet and good body control could do that. And Evans can do that. If you watch his tape, I was watching his tape against Alabama A&M in the SWAC championship in 2021. He does it a lot. So it's just him doing the right things from practice, translating onto the field. Big fan of his for sure.
Last guy, though, who is kind of close to home, is from New England. Spencer Rolland from Harvard, 6'6", 298. Is he from DC?
I said I am close to home.
Okay, we went to school in Rhode Island, dipshit. Like,
hey,
but he's also coached by your offensive lineman coach, Keegan Kennedy. Says he's listed as a mechanical engineering major, which I don't know why, but that pisses me off. I don't like linemen to be doing smart things. Like, why isn't he like a comm major or a criminal justice major? I don't like that he's smart enough to be doing mechanical engineering. You couldn't do mechanical engineering.
If somebody is bigger and smarter than Joe, he has an issue with it. That's what I know about Joe. Joe thinks that he could be a mechanical engineering major. You do.
I've never said that I thought I could.
You think you can. No,
I don't.
I'm not saying you said that, but you personally look at you.
You're
smiling.
I'm bad at math. I'm bad at math.
Then why would you brag about getting an A in calc or A- in calculus?
Because it's the only notable thing that I've done in math is getting an A calculus.
Listen up, you fraud hack loser. This is what Joe thinks. He thinks that if he really put his mind to it, he could do it. That's what he thinks. He thinks if he really applied himself right now, if he said, you know what, I'm done with this, I'm going to go become a mechanical engineering major, he thinks he would do it, and he could
talk about Roland. Just talk about Roland.
No. I got you, didn't I? You think you could do it. No, I'm not letting you out of this. I'm not. Because I'm not saying you can do it.
I'm cocky. I'm an asshole. What do you want?
That's all I wanted.
Is that
all right? Let's talk about this guy, Spencer Rolland. That's all I wanted you to do.
You're a big fan of him, though. You were getting a little steamed up watching him.
Okay, steamed up is a strong word. It is. But when I was watching his tape, it reminded me of being in that meeting room for 3 years with Coach Kennedy and him waiting for somebody to do what he was teaching us to do. Him begging us, please do what you're doing in practice in the game. And Roland does that. Roland has quick feet. He is trim in the torso, pretty big in the thighs. He's a tall tackle. He moves really well. He's beasted him right down the face right now. I'm sorry. I'm watching it. He pulls fantastically. One thing he did that I don't really enjoy that much, he tipped his pull a little bit, but that he's only tipping his pull when he's going back to the left side because he plays right tackle. I understand every offensive lineman is going to need a little cheat a bit, but if you're playing a defense that can queue up on that, then they're going to bust that play open, and you will be yelled at. But regardless, he does the right things. I said a while ago during COVID that being only in practice with Keegan Kennedy, those guys are going to come out with impeccable technique because all they're going to do is practice, and all they're going to do is trigger step, and all they're going to do all day, every day is inside run and one-on-ones. That's all they're going to do, and that's all they did. And you can see it with this Harvard O-line. And it's not just what's his damn name, Spencer Rolland. It's the whole O-line that's doing exactly what they need to do. Boom, here's a play, and then you see it trigger steps all across the board. And I know every offensive line coach thinks they're the best offensive line coach. If you have a good one, you kind of know it. Kennedy was a good offensive line coach. And then if you spend enough time doing it, you're going to pick some stuff up. Spencer Rolland is technically sound, and I am a fan of his for sure.
Yeah, Coach Kennedy always got everybody right. He did not like me snapping on field goals for some reason, but
you were 210 pounds.
I could have taken Joe's job. All right,
I could have. Dimmy could have taken your job too.
Demi sucked. He's not even playing football anymore. I don't even know if he is.
Yeah, he is.
He's at some Division III school.
No, he was at D1. He transferred to a D1 school.
Where did he transfer to?
Let me pull it up right now. They're purple. Hold on.
Stephen F. Austin? No, definitely not.
No.
Stonehill?
WIU, Western Illinois.
Oh,
What?
All right, great tier guys. I want to talk about.
Sure.
Great tier guys. I want to hit on really quick before we wrap up.
Look at Dimmy here. Look at him. Look at Dimmy. I just love him. He's just great. I'm sorry. I was just looking at his Instagram.
He's so German.
Timmy rocks. He is German.
Michael Gerace from Maine, their starting center. Mason McCormick, South Dakota State guard. Nash Jensen, North Dakota State guard. Alex Jensen, South Dakota offensive tackle. Hunter Nourzard from Cornell. Garrett Greenfield from South Dakota State. And then lastly, we have to include our guy, Nick Correia, guard from the University of Rhode Island. I want to talk about Correia to wrap, but before we get, I want to talk about these other guys, just quick wrap around on them. Not surprising that we've got 2 South Dakota State players in the great tier and one guy, another North Dakota State guy. We already talked about how well developed these North Dakota State guys are, but South Dakota State is not too far off yet. Not too far
mean.
Off.
They're mean up front.
So mean. And notice how every single week we've mentioned a South Dakota State player.
If you have, I mean, it's not a bad futures bet. Look, that South Dakota State offensive line is mean. I think I saw some, what did I see on Michael Gerace recently on social media? Was he featured in something? Was he on their media
Tyler
day or
Cruz
something?
Posted something?
Maybe. The South Dakota State guys, I remember watching from the stands with our pals. Oh, I just remembered, Chad, I got a public apology. I was not following Chad Myros back on Twitter. I don't know how it happened.
Or JD.
I thought I'm getting to him. Thank you. I need to publicly apologize to Chad Myros. I swore I was following him. I wasn't. I am embarrassed, and I am a hack. That is the best apology I can give you. You deserve that. And it's not even like, oh, I think so. Getting a follow from me is important. No. It's, I know you. I like what you put out.
You're a bad person.
I should have been following you. I'm a bad person. The same thing, unfortunately, goes for Jamie Williams, who I don't know why. I thought that, I don't know. But he got the follow as well. So I'm trying to right my wrongs. I needed to do that before I forgot, and I wanted to apologize to those that I hadn't followed through with. Back to the South Dakota State offensive line. I remember watching them and Joe being next to me, and then Joe was just sitting there, I'm too drunk. It's too hot. I don't want to spend any money. I was like, Joe, please, I'm trying to watch this offensive line work, because they were really mean, and they stayed really low, even though they're a tall offensive line. They're pretty tall across the board, but they stayed low. They moved North Dakota State around for Pierre Strong to go bust out big runs and all that. They have a very good offensive line.
Sean, quickly on Correia, though, before I close this out, because I got to jump. I know I'm important, right? Jeez. Nick Correia, though, we played with, and he came in, I believe, our junior year. Massive dude.
One of the biggest people I've ever seen in my life.
6'6", 330 is what he's listed at. Didn't even know that they had football in Nantucket, but he came to play at URI. And he, as soon as he stepped onto the field, man, has had such a presence for that team.
He's going to be in a Portnoy video when he's in Nantucket, and he's just going to be like, look at this giant I just saw. And I'm just like, oh, there's Correia. Just picking oranges off the trees. That's what he does. Just chilling there. Posting weird selfies. I got you, Nick.
I'm glad that's the analysis that you gave for him. Not his quality as a football player, as a person.
I'm sorry you brought up Nantucket. I'm sorry. I'm marking out a little bit. Look, Correia, because we were all coming back, and we were pretty excited that coming back for junior year, because it was our class. We were kind of ready to take over, but there's still some good seniors on the team. But we walk in and we're like, oh, hey, what's up? Kind of, and then we see a mountain in the weight room. We're like, what is this? Did they get a new piece of equipment? What is this? We say, oh, that's a human being. Who is this? Where did he transfer from? The dark world? Where is he from? I don't know. And then he's like, yeah, I'm from Massachusetts. My name's Nick Correia. I'm offensive line. Like, oh, I thought you were a kicker. No, he just and I've never seen a whole team, 80 guys, just looking at one dude constantly, just looking. Like, whoa, what the hell? Because we either got somebody that was tall and then too light, or we got somebody that was short and too heavy. And this Nick Correia showed up. You're like, oh, well, if my car's ever stuck in the snow, you could probably just pick it up and put it on your back, pal, huh? Thanks. I'll remember to give you a call. One of the most impressive dudes I've ever just seen walking around. He's good also at football along with that. His feet obviously need to keep getting better. They have gotten far better since freshman year. And then he's a guy that you're going to have to keep your eye on because you cannot teach being that physically gifted in that size and that strong. I mean, weight room wise, he was lifting it at rack 1 sophomore year easily.
Yeah, with the big boys. And he's somebody who I think needs to be on more of these preseason lists, but hasn't necessarily gotten that recognition. That's all we got for today, though. At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio, Hack City on YouTube, Hack City on Instagram, on TikTok. Hit subscribe or follow wherever you're tuning in. Also, hit subscribe on the FCS Football Podcast on wherever you get your podcasts.
Believe shop. Get your stuff.
Yes. Drive safe, everybody.